Good morning. November 23rd at 9 o'clock. We have a regular Commissioners Court meeting this morning. And we will start with a prayer pledge, which will be led by Mr. Ballou.
Lord, we're grateful for this time and what it means to us with this week, and spend time with family and enjoying the bounty of what you've provided for us. Help us to be truly thankful. And today in these proceedings also to be thankful we live in a free nation where we can self-determine what happens in our communities. We're thankful to you, and we pray in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Judge Kelly is out this week, and Commissioner Mosier is on the phone. So we have four of us that are here today. Start out with Commissioner's comments. Mr. Ballou?
I went to the Wild Game Dinner in Gillespie County over the weekend, and they really had a good setup. Everybody got their temperature taken on the way in, and if you cleared that, then you were there to have fun. They had everybody spread out pretty good outdoors eating. And it was a smart way to handle a large gathering. Very smart way. So it'd be a good model for us, anything we do in the near future. Take a look at what they did there.
Okay. Commissioner Mosier?
Yes, thank you, Commissioner Letts. Several things that are happening in economic development in Precinct 2. There's a residential development that's in conceptual planning activities. Several things still pending and could happen at the airport. Not going into any detail right now. And the new quarry is in operation. I think the quarry operators are happy, but some of the neighbors are not. So when we get it COVID-wise, we'll have a town hall meeting and discuss that. So that's it.
Okay. Commissioner Harris?
We need some rain. We need some rain rather severely in different areas. But I will comment on the West Kerr Chamber. Had a mixer last Thursday. It is held at the Hill Country Youth Ranch Thrift Store in Ingram, and it was well attended, and it was a fun activity. So if you're a small business out there or just an individual, I'd encourage you to enjoy and to join the West Kerr Chamber. That's it.
I have two comments. One, over the weekend, or I guess on 21st, Saturday, the Christmas Lighting Corporation kind of coordinated a lighting event, a virtual event, and lit up Sidney Baker, Tranquility Island, the courthouse, and did some other stuff down in the older part of downtown Kerrville. I think it went off without a hitch, done very well, and it was thanks to George Eichner and his committee for really spearheading and getting that done with challenging times. Other comment that I like to make is that I think it was pretty publicly known that the courthouse had a little outbreak of COVID a couple of weeks ago, and I just want to thank all of the, and that's greatly reduced. We have very few employees that are still out active. We have some that are still quarantined, but active cases were way down. And I want to thank the employees, elected officials, department heads that really got on top of that quickly and pushed those numbers way down. Anyway, that's all I had. Went a little bit out of order this morning. Go back up to public input. Is there anyone from the public that wanted to make any public comment this morning? Don't see anyone. So we'll go on to the consideration agenda. First item is consider, discuss, and take appropriate action on request from USDA Wildlife Services to use Flat Rock Park for ATV training. Dates will vary. Dude Sandoval.
Right there. You can take your mask off, Steve, if you want.
Good morning, folks. Appreciate y'all taking the time to listen to me this morning. All I'm asking is for the use of the Flat Rock Park for ATV training. We hold it quarterly, just depends depends on how many people we have throughout the state that are interested in taking it. It's a national ATV training course that I'm the trainer, and so I'm just looking for a place that we can use the park. And in the past, we haven't had any problems. We've used it, and I'm just kind of following through, going through the proper protocol to get sure it's official.
Do you mind if I ask you, what's some of the training?
Oh, it's got a
that you
course,
do?
it's about 100 feet, it's got some cones. We have ATVs and we go through around the course, stopping, going up hills. It lasts about 5 hours
Okay.
and generally can average between 2 to 5 people.
Sure. Okay. I move for approval.
I've got if I'm not interrupting, got a couple of questions. This has been done in the past and it works out well, but where in the park are you planning to do it, when, and for how long?
Well, the dates vary. It could be every 3 months, it could be 4 months. And we've been doing this for almost 15 years, and we started out in the so-called dog park portion, which never was a problem. We were able to go set up our course with some cones and some flags the night before, and didn't have to worry about anybody taking them or knocking them down. And then this last 2 years, I've had to move to the flat rock portion, which is further west on the park.
Does the dog park work for you?
It really does. It's more secluded, and it's been easier to get to and quicker to get out, and so it has in the past.
Well, my recommendation is let's limit it to the dog park then, if that works. But I think you need you're going to let all your people know in advance. I think you need to come back to the court on the dates that you want to do it and the time.
Commissioner, would it be acceptable to you if you notify you and our maintenance department as to the dates rather than have them come back?
Well, that would be okay, just as long as we can put a notice up
Sure.
for people in the dog park area that know when it's going to happen.
Okay.
Sure. I don't have a problem with that. And normally we've been working with maintenance supervisor Evans, and it's worked out well. I call him, give him a date, and then just confirm after it's done.
Okay.
That works, yeah.
Is there a motion?
Yeah.
Second.
I made a
As
motion.
long as we can post it there at the entrance to the dog park, like you'll know in a week in advance, if you do that, that'll be perfect.
Yes, it could be up to 2 weeks in advance notice.
Okay. I move for approval.
Either way.
Yep.
You
have a
couldn't
second-
hear
you have a
us.
second. Commissioner Harris already made the motion. You have a second, Commissioner.
Oh, I'm not here. Okay.
Motion, Commissioner Harris, second, Commissioner Moser to approve the request from the USDA Wildlife Services to use Flat Rock Park for ATV training. They'll notify Commissioner Moser and Maintenance Director at least a week in advance of those events. Any additional discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Raise your hand. Unanimous, 4-0.
That's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Really
Thank you, sir.
appreciate it. When you done this with anybody? Okay, thank you. You all have a very good day.
You too.
Nice Thanksgiving too. Thank you.
Item 1.2, consider, discuss, take appropriate action to enter into a bank consulting agreement with Patterson and Associates for Kerr County's 2021 Bank Depository RFP and allow county judge to sign the same. Tracy Saldana.
Good morning. So we are needing to go out to bid again for our depository contract. We did this back in 2015 and also used Patterson and Associates to help review the bids that came in.
Move for approval.
Second.
Motion from Commissioner Blue, second Commissioner Harris to approve the agenda item, which authorize Patterson Associates to go out for RFP Bank Depository for 2021. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye, raise your hand.
Aye.
Unanimous, 4-0.
Thank you.
Thank you. 1.3, consider, discuss, take appropriate action on campaign protocol and guidelines for early voting at Hill Country Youth Event Hall. Mr. Harris?
Yes, after our last round of voting and what have you, we ran into some problems with the different candidates and as far as signs and parking and different things out at the Hill Country Youth Event Center. And while it's fresh on our mind, I thought it'd be good to form a committee to try to set in place some policies going forward the next time, if we have them again at the elections there at the Hill Country Youth Event Center. And with Commissioner Blue having just been a candidate and spending a lot of time out there, I think it'd be good to have a committee of maybe him and myself and Jake Williamson, and maybe try to set this into place. And
I'll do that.
okay,
It's fine. We want anyone from law enforcement.
it wouldn't hurt.
Not a bad idea.
Larry, in fact, we could start after the first of the year and maybe get our sheriff elect in on the committee as well. So I move that we form a committee of myself, Commissioner Blue, Jake Williamson, and Larry Leaf there, our sheriff elect.
I don't
I
usually
would say-
volunteer for committees, but I would like to participate in that because there will be some regulations and rules that we have to stay within if we
Okay.
adopt a policy.
This is mostly for, you have the rules that the state requires that you stay a certain distance back and so on. It's logistics mostly that I've observed out
Right.
there.
Okay.
But you're right, you should approve all that.
Okay.
The
So
more
if you
the
don't
merrier.
want me in the committee, that's great, and I'll just review after I
Well,
have recommendation.
and I spoke with the judge about this, and he would also like to give information, not necessarily be on the committee, but at least and share his input with us on that.
Well, a recommendation, I mean, the committee obviously can speak with who they want, but then a recommendation would come back to the court, correct?
You
Yeah,
bet,
right.
without a doubt.
Sure.
So,
So, Heather, do you want to be on the committee or not on the committee? Or you just want to?
our input, or
I would like to I'll give you guys some guidelines and rules if you'd like, just a memo from me, and if you have any
That sounds
questions, let me
good.
know, and I'm glad to attend whatever meeting y'all have.
perfect,
Okay.
all right.
Is there a second?
I'll say.
We have a motion from Commissioner Harris, second from Commissioner Blue to form a committee to review campaign protocol and guidelines for voting at the Hill Country Event Center. The committee would be Don Harris, Harley Blue, Larry Leaf, or his representative, and Jake Williamson, with input from the county attorney as needed.
Good,
This will take place after the first of the year. Correct?
right.
Right. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye, raise your hand.
Aye.
Unanimous, 4-0. Item 1.4, consider, discuss, and take appropriate action on request from the Hill Country District Junior Livestock Show Association to use Flat Rock Park, including Dog Park, around 12 a.m. Thursday, January 14th, 2021 to 12 a.m. Sunday, January 24th, 2021, to park trailers and use as staging area for delivery of animals. Those parked other vehicular traffic during this time period. Mr. Bauer.
Good morning, Commissioners. Thank you all for taking time, making that appearance like we do every time this year. It's under a little different circumstances. I would like to explain on the order that's written, as Commissioner Letts read. We have extended the period of time. That is part of the plans that we are doing with the show, still trying to move forward and have a show. We have extended the period of time, spread the show out. We're moving our cattle up to the front end of the show and spreading some things out to accommodate the social distancing and so forth that we need to do to make this happen. But this is our request again, that we can use that park to park our trailers in the staging area and keep everything separated, flowing freely and off of the main highways.
So while you're extending the period a little bit, you're probably decreasing the density.
Yes, sir. And I can touch on that if you would like. We are limiting the amount of people that will be attending. It will be the exhibitors only and 2 parents or 2 wristbands per family unit. We're not gonna, and I'm gonna apologize up front. We're sorry, grandparents and aunts and uncles, but we value our youth. And we want to protect them, and we want to protect the public. And we feel like we can get them in, let them have this show, the projects that they've worked on for so long, and meet an end to it. and move forward. And hopefully, after next year, or after this year passes, and we can go back to normal. We're making some concessions, yes, sir.
Okay. I move for approval.
Second.
A motion from Commissioner Harris, second Commissioner Blue, to approve the agenda item as requested. Any additional discussion? All in favor, raise your hand and say aye.
Aye.
It's unanimous. Item 1.5, consider, discuss, and take appropriate action on request from the Hill Country District Junior Livestock Show Association to close Riverside Drive from the southwest corner of Riverstar Park to the southeast corner of Hill Country Event Center grounds from 12 a.m. Thursday, January 14th to 12 a.m. Sunday, January 24th for the 2021 stock show. Mr. Bauer?
Yes, sir. Again, it's the same as we have in the past, to close Riverside because we do staging and pulling the trailers and trucks up through that area. It's a safety measure. We'll also contact KISD about their bus routes at that time as well, but it's just a safety measure to get those things off the state highway and around the back where they can stage and safely enter and exit their grounds.
Yeah, I
Move
work.
for approval.
Second.
Motion Commissioner Moser, second Commissioner Harris to approve the agenda item as requested. Any further discussion?
Now, Steve, you know we now have that dynamic sign that you can use to direct traffic. Did we use that last year? Or did
No,
we
sir,
have-
I don't believe we did at that time.
Okay. If you'll let Road and Bridge know when you need it, it'll tell people where to go and park.
Excellent. Thank you. We will.
Yeah, and actually, if you want two of them, you might could get one from TxDOT as well. We did that during early voting out there. We have one, and they brought another one out.
Okay. I will give it our TxDOT crew that does our parking and see what they can do for
Yeah,
us.
so you could have one on both sides, on River
Right.
Road and on 27.
Correct. Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, motion second. Any more discussion? All in favor, raise your hand and say aye.
Aye.
Unanimous. Item 1.6, consider, discuss, and take appropriate action to appoint a member of Commissioners Court or designated person to perform investigation under section 751.005 of the Texas Health and Safety Code for the purpose of determining if the minimum standards for ensuring public safety and order as prescribed by law will be maintained under application for a permit for mass gathering by the Hill Country District Junior Livestock Show. Hearing date to be determined. This is something we do every year, to go through the mass gathering permit. I understand that's going to be, it's in the works, it'll be turned in.
It should be in file with Jody by the end of the week. Yes, sir.
Okay. And I think last year Commissioner Harris did this, and I asked that he be the representative of Commissioners Court again.
Commissioner Lentz,
Yes?
in light of the COVID activities and all the other things, I recommend that we consider Doug Thomas to fill that position.
I think Doug could be involved with it, and he will be, but I think Commissioner, the agenda item, the member of the Commissioners Court is the designee of the court, and then I think it's a good suggestion that Doug be involved with that. Commissioner Harris could work with Doug Thomas.
Sounds
If
good.
that's acceptable.
So we're making a motion that Don Harris be that person designee from the Commissioners Court. So I'll make the motion.
Motion, Commissioner Blue, I'll go ahead and second. Commissioner Harris, and he will consult with Doug Thomas as well regarding the mass gathering permit that is required for the Hill Country District Junior Livestock Show. Any additional discussion?
Real
Yes.
quick, is there anything under the governor's orders about issuing mass gathering act? Because of all this COVID and also with the expansion of the days and the limitation of the number of people, will it actually even qualify that we have to do that?
The governor is going to UT games, so I think we're safe. I think we're fine.
That's a whole different.
No, it's not.
I'm just curious, but I mean, does it even require one?
We looked at the population share, it's just the number of kids, the minors and everything involved is what catches the population we can probably get by with, but because of the minors involved, yes, we feel we do.
And the only thing I would say, because they show up every year out there, is that Heather made check to make sure that it can be done during this, because the health department shows up every year. And if it can't, I would hate to get this thing started and they end up coming in and shutting it down because we couldn't issue one. It's not that we want to hamper it, because, you know, it needs to be done.
I visited with,
I think we need to see what the health department's attitude's gonna be on mass gathering.
I visited with Mr. Reeves a little bit about this, and my understanding is, and correct me if I'm not correct, Steve, that the numbers are going to be about half, probably, of the occupancy of that building. So we're going to be well within the occupancy limits for an indoor gathering.
Right, I think what triggers it, like Steve was saying, is is it 500?
I think it's 500.
500 kids for any certain amount of time after certain hours and all that kind of stuff that would require having.
When we first began looking at it with the numbers like Sheriff discussed, we thought, oh, we could get under this year by limiting. But because of the requirements of the minors, which is another requirement that we have to meet, that's what caught us. And
Well,
we know, and that's fine. But I've been visiting with the judge a little bit, I think, on this as we've gone along. And I agree with the sheriff, if we need to visit the state health department, make sure that this falls under the mandate, that we're gonna be fine before we move forward, or we need to make any other adjustments, you know, the sooner we can make those adjustments to help our exhibitors, the better off we'll be.
And that'll all be part of this process, you get the permit.
That's what I would recommend.
Okay. All right. Any further discussion? All in favor of the approved agenda item, raise your hand, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Item 1.7, consider discuss take appropriate action regarding the county Christmas party. This is really just more of an announcement. I visited with Jody a little bit on this, and also the judge, and it is felt that canceling the Christmas party as we've usually done it is probably makes sense this year and the best option. So the current plans are not to have the annual Christmas or county Christmas party at the Hippon Beach Event Center, where we invite all county employees. Hate to do that, but we just think that it's very difficult. It would almost be impossible to do that under the current guidelines and do it in a safe manner. So that's just really an announcement. Item 1.8, consider discuss take appropriate action to accept donations of PPE, personal protective equipment from the local U.S. Census Bureau office.
We received a call last week from Billy Horton, and they're, since the census is over, they're closing down the local office, and they want to donate, it'll be masks, hand sanitizer, and gloves to the county.
Good. Is there a set number, or just whatever they have left?
It's whatever they have left. He said it would probably be, though he didn't have the definite numbers, about 10 cases of masks in there, 500 per case. 10 cases of hand sanitizer. He said they're the individual sizes, and probably 1 case of gloves. He's
So
supposed to.
surplus,
Question,
really.
can the county then disperse those as we choose?
Yes, yeah, it's a donation just for us to use as we choose to use.
Okay. Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion from Commissioner Moses, second from Commissioner Harris to accept the donation of PPE from the local U.S. Census Bureau office. Any additional discussion? All in favor, raise your hand, say aye.
Aye.
It's unanimous. The next item is a timed item for 9 o'clock, so why don't we go on to the,
10 o'clock.
10 o'clock, excuse me. Go on to the approval agenda. Why don't we take a 5-minute break so we can get some people in here because we're a little bit ahead of schedule.
Okay.
9:30 we go through the approval agenda. We'll be in recess 5 minutes. 9:30, let's move on with the approval agenda. Auditor?
Yes, today's invoices for your consideration, $6,744.34 for Kerr County for last fiscal year. For the current fiscal year, we have $301,432.63. For Kerr County, the airport, $3,304.16. Adult probation, $27,431.91. Juvenile probation, $431.94. District clerk fees of $6,950.40. And the 198 DA forfeiture funds, $1,178.35.
Move for approval.
Second.
Got a motion from Commissioner Blue, second Commissioner Harris to approve the treasurer's disbursements for 11/23/20. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand and say aye.
Aye.
It's unanimous, 4-0. Budget amendments,
There are not any.
late bills,
There are not any.
auditor report,
There are not any.
monthly reports.
Yes, October 2020 fines, judgments, and jury fees collected. JP3, Kathy Mitchell. JP4, Bill Ragsdale. District Clerk, Don Lance. County Treasurer, Tracy Sullivan. Environmental Health, OSFF, Director Ashley Batters. Animal Control Services, Director Reagan Gibbons. I move for approval.
Second.
Motion Commissioner Harris, second Commissioner Blue to approve or accept the monthly reports as presented. And any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand and say aye.
Aye.
It's unanimous. Court orders, we have the court orders from November 16th, 2020, court orders 38440 through 38445. They all look to be in order. I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by myself, second Commissioner Harris to approve the court orders. Any discussion? All in favor, raise your hand and say aye.
Aye.
4-0, it's unanimous. Information agenda, department heads. We have one coming up.
Morning, gentlemen.
Mr. Monroe.
To let y'all know that we have filled the position that was vacant in the IT department, and it should be starting next week.
Good.
Good.
That's all I got.
New Batcave member.
Status reports from elected officials. Any? None. Status reports from liaison commissioners. Mr. Blue, anything?
The Historical Commission is not meeting, and I don't have anything else from any of the other.
Commissioner Moser?
Nothing.
Okay.
Mr. Harris?
Extension, they still haven't filled our extension agent place. They have filled some across the state, I believe about 20, but some of those counties didn't have a person, period. You know, we're kind of fortunate, we're a little bit bigger, and Jennifer Smith's filling in, doing a good job out there, filling those shoes right now. So we're getting closer, but we're not there yet, according to them. So that's all I have.
Okay. I think the only kind of comment or update that I have is the progress on the Hill Country Regional Public Defender's Office. That committee met for its first organizational meeting last week. Judge Williams will be the chair of that committee. I think all of the counties have appointed their representatives. Most of them were in attendance. And applications have come in for the chief public defender who kind of runs the office. And those applications, I believe, is December 3rd or 4th, somewhere there will be gone over. There are 3, I guess that kind of came up to on top of the resumes. They're the first round, and the committee that will interview them initially will be Judge Kelly, Judge Evans, Judge Schuhart, and Keith Williams. I believe that's the questioning committee, HR director from Kerr County, Jennifer Dawson, and also from Moody, I think is her name, from Medina County will be there to keep them in line, or try to keep that group in line. And then the rest of the committee will be in attendance and can ask questions, but the intent is not to participate too much. So that's set up to go. Some good candidates, really probably not quite as many top
Not
candidates
as
as
much
we thought.
interest as,
I think we had like 10 applications. Some of them really just weren't qualified, and others were very qualified, and we're looking for them, so we should come up with a good option there.
good.
That's all I have, and we're still way ahead of schedule, so we'll be in recess till 10 o'clock.
Okay.
All right, 10 o'clock, call Commissioners Court back to order. There's some 10 o'clock timed items. Item 1.9, consider, discuss, take appropriate action to authorize the county clerk to advertise for bids for the 2021 road reconstruction project, precinct 1 and 3. Hastings.
Thank you. Plan specifications have been prepared by the county engineer for the reconstruction of approximately 1.5 miles of county maintained roads. In 2018, the project included Indian Creek Road and Rimrock Road. In 2019, the project consisted of Peterson Farm Road intersection with 27, that was a realignment. The Sutherland Lane intersection with 27, another realignment. Upper Turtle Creek Road, Herman Sons Road, and El Pass 2 Road. In 2020, just this past year, the project included Wedgewood Lane and Wild Timber Drive. The 2021 proposed road reconstruction project consists of the following roads: Westway Drive, Tree Lane, Roy Street, Jonas Drive, and Low Ranch Street. The project schedule is to advertise on Wednesday, November the 25th and Wednesday, December the 2nd of 2020. There'll be a pre-bid conference at 2 p.m. on December 7th, 2020. Bids would be due 2 p.m. January the 8th, 2021. And the bid opening and award would be that following Monday, which is a Commissioner Court Day, 10 a.m. January 11th, 2021. County engineer requests the court authorize the county clerk to advertise for bids the 2021 road reconstruction project, precincts 1 and 3, on November the 25th and December the 2nd. Those will be the 2 days for the advertisement.
Move for approval. Second.
Motion from Commissioner Blue, second Commissioner Harris, to approve the agenda item as presented. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand or say aye.
Aye.
Unanimous, 4-0. Item 110, consider, discuss, take appropriate action for the court to set a public hearing for 10 a.m. on December 28th for a revision of plat for the estates at Turtle Creek, Section 2, lots 27 and 28, Volume 6, page 247, Precinct 2.
Thank you. This proposal adjusts the lot line between lot 27 and lot 28. Lot 27R will be 3.67 acres and lot 28R will be 2.99 acres. The property access and road frontage to both lots will remain on Estates Drive. Should be noted that lot 27 currently has 102 feet of road frontage. This proposed revision will increase that to 128, and lot 28R will have about 274 feet of frontage. The county engineer requests the court set a public hearing for 10 a.m. on December 28, 2020 for a revision of plat for estates at Turtle Creek, Section 2, lots 27 and 28, Volume 6, page 241, Precinct 2.
Move for approval.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Is there a question, is the date of that public hearing right over the holidays, is there a reason that it needs to be done? Is there a time sensitivity to this item?
I'm assuming there is, but I don't know for sure. It's a lot line adjustment. I don't know if there's a sale pending or anything like that. We don't.
There's a representative from Vocal out in the hallway.
Is he still here?
Jonathan, it is a regular session though.
Right.
Do you know if it's time sensitive, the one for estates?
Yes, it is.
It is, yes. That one is.
All right, it's time sensitive. All right, we have a motion from Commissioner Moser, second was from Commissioner Harris. Harris to approve the agenda item, set the public hearing, December 28th at 10 a.m. for the estates of Turtle Creek, Section 2, lots 27 and 28, Volume 6, page 241. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand or say aye.
Aye.
Unanimous, 4-0. Item 111, consider, discuss, take appropriate action for the court to approve the revision of plat for Elm Pass Ranch Number 2, tract 36A, to be known as Elm Pass Ranch Number 3, is Volume 6, page 248, in Precinct 2. Hastings.
Thank you. This proposal subdivides Elm Pass Ranch Number 2, tract 36A, into 9 lots, and it will be known as Elm Pass Ranch Number 3. The public hearing was held on November the 9th, 2020. The county engineer requests the court approve the revision of plat for Elm Pass Ranch Number 2, Tract 36A, to be known as Elm Pass Ranch Number 3, Volume 6, page 248, Precinct 2. And I will note that they did end up conducting a flood study on this so that we could establish the minimum finished floor elevations and put that on the plat. That was the delay in not having it ready on the same day as the public hearing. But it is ready now.
There's ample road access here, Charlie?
Yes, sir.
Frontage and so on?
Yes, these are all pretty large tracts of land.
They're all about 11 acres plus or minus.
10, 11
It looks like up at in the north part of it that it might not be.
There's
How are they gonna,
and
I mean, that's for them to work out, but they've assured you that that's all gonna have plenty of road frontage?
oh, they have adequate road frontage along Elm Pass Road. The smallest one is 300 feet.
Doesn't appear there's any road at the north end.
There's a road on the left side of your plat that wraps around, that's Elm Pass 2. There's an additional road that where we have an issue with someone has a gate across it that goes back behind these lots, and that's being worked out. There's an attorney involved. I know the county attorney has talked with those attorneys, and that's also known as Russell Ranch Road. It is a private road. Privately maintained, but it's public, so it shouldn't have a gate across it. That is a separate issue from this.
Okay. I see it on this here, so this is the access.
That's Elm Pass 2 right there. Yes, sir. So these lots all have dual frontage actually, but they're going to use Elm Pass 2 most likely.
Do we have a motion?
I thought there was a motion.
What was it?
I'll second.
Mr. Moser made a motion, Mr. Blue second, to approve the revision of plat for Elm Pass 2 Elm Pass Ranch Number 2, Tract 36A, to be known as Elm Pass Ranch Number 3. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand or say aye.
Aye.
Unanimous, 4-0. Item 112, consider, discuss, take appropriate action for the court to approve final plat for River Dance Ranch, D file number 18-04003, precinct 4.
This proposed subdivision contains 3 lots off of State Highway 39. Each lot will be greater than 5 acres, and 1.3 acres will be dedicated to TxDOT as right-of-way for State Highway 39. The road already exists through there, it's never been dedicated as right-of-way. That's very common in the Hunt area. Proposed access to each lot will be from shared access easements off of Highway 39. That's a TxDOT requirement to limit the number of driveways on Highway 39. This subdivision is partially within the floodplain and must meet requirements for development within the floodplain. County engineer requests the court approve final plat for River Dance Ranch, Precinct 4.
I move for approval.
Second.
A motion from Commissioner Harris, second Commissioner Baloo. Charlie, what's the tract in the middle?
Good
Is
question.
that still tied to that
It's
property
still
right
tied
across
to
it?
the, yes.
Yes.
Side of
Yes,
the property across?
Yes.
yes, it is.
Yeah.
River access.
So
That's right.
Okay, we have a motion from Commissioner Harris, second Commissioner Baloo.
Did you want
I
to?
just want to ask you a question. These are time sensitive, and Judge, I believe, is going to have towers, where we get someone else on the board sign.
Maybe.
There.
Yeah, it's successful.
What's our to you?
On all these items, this is county attorney ahead of time, since the county judge is not present. Generally, these would be this administratively, and I have authority to sign as presiding officer of that. So, but on all these, it probably should be clear that Mr. Letts has authority to assign these plats.
Is there a notation on those kind of documents when somebody looks them up later?
Yes. It's
There
a
is.
record number and indexed with the subdivision name, date.
No, a provisional designee for signing. There's some indication that that was provisional.
There's a court order
Just curious.
authorized. But on these type of matters, I mean, we could always designate any commissioner to sign these, which, practically to the judge, but since the judge isn't here today, some of these do need to be signed.
Sure.
So we have a motion from Commissioner Harris, second Commissioner Blue, to approve final plat for River Dance Ranch, deed file 18-04003, in precinct 4. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand and say aye.
Aye.
4-0, it's unanimous. 113, public hearing. This will be a public hearing for the revision of plat for Cave Springs addition, section 5, phase 1, lots 14 and 15 of block B, volume 5, page 164. This is a public hearing. Is there any one like to speak at this public hearing?
I want to talk about the hearing over item, what's item?
1.13.
1.13? No, sir.
No one wants to speak on that item, so we'll move on to item 1.14. Consider, discuss, and take appropriate action for the court to approve a revision of plat for Cave Springs addition, section 5, phase 1, lots 14 and 15 of block B, recorded in volume 5, page 164, precinct 4. Mr. Hastings.
Thank you. This proposal combines lots 14 and 15 into lot 14A, 1.86 acres. Property access and road frontage is on Rimrock Circle. We just held a public hearing on this, nobody spoke. County engineer requests the court approve a revision of plat for Cave Spring Addition, section 5, phase 1, lots 14 and 15 of block B, volume 5, page 164, precinct 4.
This is just combining, getting rid of a lot line, making two small lots bigger.
Correct.
I move for approval.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Harris, second Commissioner Blue, to approve the revision of plat for Cave Spring Addition, section 5, phase 1, lot 14 and 15 of block B, recorded in volume 5, page 164. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand and say aye.
Aye.
It's unanimous. Item 1.15, we're going to have another public hearing. This is open the public hearing for a petition to abandon and discontinue road maintenance for approximately 495 feet at the end of Encino Drive, precinct 1.
Anybody wishing to speak on 1.15? Have y'all turned in a request? If you wait just a minute. They didn't fill out the request, so just sign this book.
Okay,
Let's wait just a minute.
is this Ms. McGraw?
Yeah.
Yes. Please give us your name and address, please.
I'm Nancy J. McGraw at 129 Encino Drive. We're right next to the 140 address.
Ma'am, if you wish to remove that where we can hear you better, you can, that's why you're speaking.
I'm just saying is I have no problem with that gate being across the road there, and I don't see any reason for a turnout down there. We're obviously not going to be donating any land to do that. And so if they wanted to put a driveway across our property, across from where there's a driveway already there at that section, is fine. If you guys want to put that in, that's great. But I don't see any reason why we need to turn out or that gate doesn't bother us.
Okay. Looks like Richard
Thank you.
Mantis, is that correct?
Morning.
Yes, sir. Morning. If you could remove your mask, it makes it easier to speak. And give us your name and address, please.
Not much to look at, but no worry.
Good, there you go.
Yes, sir. Richard Martin, 120 Encino Drive, Kerr South.
Okay. Any comments?
I'm here to support them. I'm not sure what I'm supposed to comment on.
It's just it's a public hearing
Yes,
on the, a public hearing on the request to abandon that portion of the road.
Okay. I did sign on for that to happen.
Okay. So you're okay with abandoning the road?
Yes, sir, I am.
Okay.
See, we're not used to this, Pastor. Most people come to complain. So you've shocked us a little bit.
I get to do that every Sunday. Especially when you're bringing on the ground.
Okay.
No, it's my understanding that the county has an easement that passes her property, just begins at her gate, goes uphill about 450 feet or so, 500, whatever. And she's been wanting to abandon it for some time. And I think she got the full subdivision sign off to that. That's correct. And
I'm not sure
And
about
to not
that.
have a turnaround. And if a turnaround was established, some property owner would have to give up some of the property to do that. And no one's willing to do that. And I think emergency vehicle went out there last week or so and tested that, and they were able to turn around without that. And so, that's all I know.
Okay.
Pretty simple, really.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
I do have an email that came in related to this from a Mr.
Yeah, I don't know how to say it.
I guess Arnolfo Bocanegra, I believe is how you say the name. And it's not that long, I'll go ahead and read it. His comments for court hearing on November 23rd. On November 15th, I noticed around 2 p.m. the Turtle Creek Fire Department truck was out on my road. They drove up to the very end to the new gate put up by Ms. Bell and did a little practice run. They backed up into several of the neighboring driveways, making sure they could get in and out. All of this while being directed and videoed by Ms. Bell and her daughter. The neighbor across the street came out to talk to me about the situation, and we agreed that there should be a designated turnaround driveway at the end of the road for emergency purposes and any public use as needed. We think that in any emergency situation, there won't be any time for someone to properly direct anyone to get in and out. I spoke with the driver of the truck after he was done with the practice, and he said the truck he was in is only about 25 feet long, not the longest vehicle. He said that in case of emergency, if more trucks were needed, that they would bring about 3 and the other vehicles were longer. I believe he said that their longest truck is about 39 feet. That seems to be a problem to me and therefore needing to turn around for better access. For speaking to some of the neighbors, I'd like a turnaround at the end of the road to make things easier for the public as needed in case of emergency vehicles coming in. I know it's been the way it is for many years, but it seems like now we have the opportunity to get this done by the county with the no cost to the homeowners, according to Charlie Hastings. Some of the driveways can be used to back in a large vehicle, but not all. Over 50% of the properties out there either have gates or cannot accommodate the entry of a large truck or long vehicle. The driveways that Mrs. Bell directed the driver of the fire truck to use as emergency backup and turnaround access are not even her property. My concern is that when the rest of these properties with open access are sold or simply have a gate put into their entry, where would vehicles turn around? Thank you, Arnie Bocanegra. Are there any other?
Yeah, you got some other speakers still, don't you?
Okay.
No, she's part of me, we're part of it.
Okay, who's gonna speak?
She's gonna start the video now, Tom.
Oh, she's got a video she's gonna start. One's
It's
gonna
just-
play the video and one's gonna talk, isn't it?
Okay,
Right.
that's fine.
Okay. I'm Ariel Bell, just so everybody knows at least my name.
Excuse me, how do you spell that?
Arielle and Bell.
If it's easier to speak, you can take your mask off while you're speaking. Thank you.
Did you get that okay?
And your address?
140 Encino Drive.
Thank you.
Okay, let's go ahead and play the first video. Yeah. We have to start. Let's give it back.
And Cheryl, can you give your name and address, please?
Yes, Shirley Bell, 140 Encino Drive, and this is the videos of the fire marshal that came out that did speak with Mr. Bocanegra, and he also wrote a letter. He was supposed to be here today, but he's sick, so we had videotaped him, and he wanted to be sure that you saw this.
All right, proceed.
Hello, I'm Wesley Gordon, Chief of Turtle Creek Volunteer Fire Department, and we're up here today on Encino Road, just demonstrating that it was very easy for us to turn one of our big trucks around in 3 of the driveways down the street from the residence that's wanting to close the end of the road off. I feel very confident that the EMS crews and other larger trucks will have the same capability that we have. Thank you.
May I can get closer to show a couple other videos.
Want to pick the correct one? Go ahead.
Just tell me which number.
Just go, let's see. I guess that third one, the one that you're on right there.
Okay.
And that's the first turnaround from the, my property line. She's standing at my property line.
Is that somebody else's property? I mean, somebody.
It's 129.
Okay.
She was here and she's okay. That's where most everybody turns around, right there. So if you want to play it again, you can see that's the larger truck that he brought out. He also brought a smaller truck, so he's very capable of turning around without any problems.
Yeah, just. Go down one, where you were, and this one should be 129, backing up into.
This is their actual driveway. Went into different driveways showing that he can go in either direction.
So
Which one?
Next one down.
Next one.
And this is Mr. Martin.
And in concurrence with the first video, Mr. Gordon said he was confident that he could turn around all driveways. He wrote a letters to that effect, that he could turn around all driveways without any problem. So I think that was the concern that Charlie was having. And I think everybody that makes a wrong turn down a driveway, a road, they can turn in any driveway and turn around. They don't have to go to the end of the road to turn around. And most of the driveways, as he said, has plenty of room to turn around that truck. So the odds of any larger vehicles, matter of fact, they came out with a larger truck when my home burned in 2005, along with two other fire departments from Kerrville that came. So they were very capable of turning around, putting out a fire. And so I'm hoping that you will go along with the abandonment without any type of turnaround, since the majority of the neighbors are in agreement with that.
Thanks, Ariel. And the letter that's developed handy is to whom it may concern. Chief Wes Gordon went to the address at 140 Encino Road on Sunday, November 15, 2020, with two different sized trucks, one holding 400 gallons of water, the other holding 1,800 gallons of water, to ensure and emergency vehicles could turn around with no problem at all. Sincerely, Leslie Gordon, Chief Volunteer Fire Department. Any other, or does anyone else wish to speak at this public hearing?
Is that it?
Okay.
I'll move for approval
Oh,
then.
we're not there yet.
What are we doing?
We're on, this is a public hearing.
Oh, that's right.
Close the public hearing and move to 1.16. Consider, discuss, and take appropriate action to consider a petition to abandon discontinued road maintenance for approximately 495 feet at the end of Encino Drive, Precinct 1. Mr. Hastings.
This item also has Shirley Bell's name on it, so if you wanted her to speak first, and or
Well,
I do have a presentation.
Okay, I was just gonna say that was mine. I didn't realize that was to wait till this time. But it was just to concur that also in the video you saw Mr. Buckingham was watching the fire marshal, and they spoke afterwards regarding them, why they were there and what they were doing. So again, I hope that you will agree with the majority that we're very capable of having emergency vehicles and fire trucks turning around without any problem. They do not have to go to the end of the road to make a turnaround. And if they did, there still is plenty of room. The very first one was the first entrance over the culvert where 129, Ms. McGraw had said that if you want to put a culvert across from it or expand it, but there's plenty of room for a turnaround already there. They're already using it for this many years, so.
Okay. Mr. Hastings.
Oh, thank you. Shirley Ann Bell, who was just speaking, owns lots 6 and 7, all parts and 8 of Rancho Estates, volume 3, page 46, and has generated a petition to abandon and discontinue road maintenance for approximately 495 feet of the end of Encino Drive. The said portion of the road serves the aforementioned lots 6, 7, and 8. The request is being made so she can gate this portion of the road off from the public. There is not a request to vacate the road, so that lots 6, 7, and 8 will still have legal access to the road. However, once abandoned and discontinued, which that's the request, there's no vacation of the road, just abandoned and discontinued. Once it is abandoned and discontinued, the road will become private in nature, which means maintenance will be solely on the people who live and have frontage on that portion of the road. So lots 6, 7, and 8, and she owns all of those lots. Kerr County standard practice and procedures for a request to abandon the end of a road is for the requester to provide some means for vehicles to turn around in the form of right-of-way dedication, either a cul-de-sac, a T-head, or a hammerhead. Neither the petition nor any other document addresses this concern. The following roads are examples where the court required a turnaround in exchange for road abandonment. Fall Branch Road, Higbee Road, Canyon View Drive, and Verde Creek Road. And these are all very recent, within the last 5 years. According to Texas statutes, the court may order public roads laid out, discontinued, closed, abandoned, vacated, or altered. So again, I want to go over what the request is. The state defines the relevant terms. Abandon means to relinquish the public's right-of-way in and use of the road. So no longer would the public have use of that portion of the 495 feet.
From the fence back.
Yes, sir.
Is the easy way to remember it.
From the gate back.
Yeah.
To discontinue, discontinue is to discontinue maintenance of the road. So Kerr County would no longer be maintaining also. The statute defines the process to abandon and discontinue. Number 1, they must prepare a petition with 8 signatures from people who live in the precinct. The petition must show the limits of the road that is to be abandoned and discontinued. The petition must be posted at both ends of the subject portion of the road as well as the courthouse for a minimum of 20 days prior to a public hearing. That has been done. You have an affidavit of posting in your packet. Number 2, a public hearing is required before the Commissioners Court can consider the petition. The public hearing was held moments ago. And number 3, following the public hearing, the Commissioners Court may consider and take action on the subject request. I did visit with the Kerrville Fire Department. My understanding is that they also respond to this area. And I asked them, I said, if this was in the city limits, what would y'all require? They said, we require some kind of a turnaround be installed. It's not, so they're relying on Kerr County to do that. Our practice is to require it. All the roads I mentioned, that's what we've done in every case. And in every case, the property owner dedicated some right-of-way. They paid for the surveyor to come out. They dedicated it to us, and then Kerr County Road and Bridge went out and constructed the turnaround. Okay. In the absence of provisions for vehicles to turn around, the county engineer recommends that the court deny a petition to abandon and discontinue road maintenance for approximately 495 feet of the end of Encino Drive, Precinct 1. I know that we saw videos of a truck turning around in a driveway. That driveway is a pretty good distance away from where this road would be discontinued. So if that driver, if anybody comes up to this gate, when let's say they're hauling a trailer and let's say it's 2 o'clock in the morning, I don't know why I'm here, but I've got the end of the road now. How do I back up? How do I back up a trailer in the dark? Where am I backing it up to? That's the purpose of these turnarounds. It's not just for emergency vehicles. It's for anybody that's on that public road using it for whatever reason.
Well, it's not far-fetched that somebody has a trailer on their truck in the middle of the night around here, but I don't know that we're required to make provision for that. When you have the fire department saying that they have ample room to turn around, I don't think that we need to simply do the same thing in this instance we've done every place else just because we did it every place else. I don't think the one-size-fits-all idea. You have the neighbors that are okay with it. You have the fire department's okay with it. You have the city of Kerrville, who would like something else, but it's not in the city of Kerrville. So I don't see any reason to deny it.
Well,
certainly not based on precedent.
I think we need to stay consistent with what we do. And I know we've had several of these type things come up in Precinct 4 where we've gone out there and looked at them, and it's, you know, they weigh it out. Is it worth doing it or is it not? But I think you know, in a fire emergency situation, you're probably going to have extra vehicles that you may not have that extra person all the time to back you into a convenient, if there is a convenient driveway or something. So I think we need to stay consistent with what we've been doing.
I think we need to stay consistent, but also we have a lot of situations in the county that are similar to this, and whenever we can, we try to improve it. That's been our practice for years. Whether it's right-of-way, straightening driveways, you know, or cul-de-sac things. And I tend to agree with Commissioner Harris that we need to, you know, be consistent. And I don't see that it was that difficult to move the gate in a little bit further by the picture, and I haven't been out on the road, but move the gate in and provide a little turnaround inside the property.
I've looked at it. I'm not sure that would do the trick.
Can I say something?
It's a gate across the middle of the road.
The original reason I did this was because of the riffraff, the damage to my property and the gates. And I have pictures of all my gates and posts that have been knocked down because it's not the regular person turning around, it's someone under the influence. It's usually on Friday and Saturday nights. That's the only times I really wanted to change the gate. But since I'm on both sides of the property, the road is plenty wide enough. People have been turning around, and it's within the 40 feet of the property line, the first turnaround at 129. It's not that far. I mean, but my trash man, UPS, FedEx, they're already using it. They've been using it for years. There is not an issue with the normal person turning around, even with the trailer. My trash man has a large trailer that goes up there and turns around. So it's not, and as well as 129, that's where they turn around. So it's not an issue. I don't think, I know you want to upgrade the roads, but I don't know if it warrants it. I'm the only other house down there. There's not any other houses. And like I said, if anybody turns up that road that's going the wrong way, they can turn around any driveway.
What if they put gates on the driveway?
They all have gates, but there's enough room. There's enough room to turn around. Their gate is far enough back from the road that they can turn around.
The issue is that when they get to her gate that's across the road, they cannot turn around immediately right there. They're going to have to back up for several hundred feet before they get to a driveway that they can turn around in. That's the issue. And our standard is 99 feet.
No, it's 40 feet from my property line, from the gate to the culvert where the garden is, where the fire truck turned around the first time. And I did speak with Mr. Lackey, the fire marshal from Kerrville, and went over what you guys, I guess the ETJ, which you adopted with the city. And he felt that the road, looked at it from an aerial map, and looked like the road was
That driveway is
right here.
okay.
And the gate is back here. This is my property line, so right there, he measured it, and according to that, from this point to that point, where the gate is, it's 40 feet.
Well, it's not.
Okay, maybe 50 feet, but he did it from an aerial view.
It's more.
You saying it's less or more, Charlie?
It's a lot more than 40 feet.
Well, it's on a
Right
curve.
there is 60, so that'd be 60, be 120, it's about 130, 140 feet.
Anyway, I'm not going to disagree with him. All I know is from the time you see my gate and the light, I have a light at night that comes on, so a motion detector light that comes on at night so you can see it, as well as reflectors on the gate and on the sign. So you see it all the way down to 120. I didn't think to bring that a night view picture of seeing where it dead ends. You have 3 driveways before you even get to my gate, because you see the reflectors and you see my light. So there's plenty of time to stop and turn around. And most people that, if you're going to go up the road and you realize you're not on Encino Drive, Encino Road, Encino Loop, because there's several Encinos in Kerrville, you would turn around to the nearest driveway and go out. You wouldn't keep driving all the way to the end. I mean, that's just me, a normal person, I guess. That's what I...
Do we have a no outlet sign there? Or dead end?
Dead end. It's a dead end.
Okay.
It is a dead end. I just wanted to add something. We are talking about the distances. I do know that I've focused in on that 99 feet, but I do want you to know that in the proposed subdivision regulation rewrite, I did get a comment from another engineer in town that said that might need to be 150 feet, just so y'all know. And so that is kind of on the table right now. Our subdivision regulations haven't been completely rewritten and approved, and we could go from 99 feet to 150. I just want you to know that in case you see that, that is being considered.
Well, if that does happen, there's going to be a lot of things grandfathered in anyway. There's plenty of them that don't meet that requirement.
But it looks like that driveway that they're using to practice turning around in is within 150 feet of the gate that she's placed. That's what I wanted y'all to realize. It is way more than 40 feet, but it's within 150.
Well, I can tell you on the road that I live on, which is a county road, there's not a place for a fire truck to turn around unless you pull up in a field somewhere. There's plenty of places like that. The fire departments, volunteer fire departments, cut fence all the time. And so you have to do that kind of stuff. They know most of the gate codes and all that, but there are places where you can't turn around. There's no way around it. It's not a safe place to do it till you drive down far enough to find a turnaround. So I think we have a lot of this around here, and I just don't like the idea that we take on this central planning kind of idea. Everything has to be exactly the same. This is the hill country. Everything's not the same everywhere. Safety is an issue, but you have the testimony of a seasoned volunteer firefighter who says that it's plenty of room. I don't want to put extra burden. This is less money and less responsibility for the county.
I've been through a lot of expense, just the damages that I've had. And I think having a turnaround is just going to have more people going down there once they find out they can hang out down there. Because that's what they've been doing. there's just gonna, I'm gonna have more issues.
You got the whole neighborhood turned out in favor of this.
Well, not all. No.
Well, you have the majority of them. Because there's not too many people live on the road.
I own the property right next to her, on both sides. Our garbage guy is a big garbage truck that comes in, and he pulls into that driveway you were just talking about, that's where our garbage, and he has no problem. He's been doing it for years, for us. He pulls in, backs in, gets the garbage, and then pulls right back out. They have no problem turning it around paying. Like I said, it's a huge, full-size garbage truck. And like I said, we own that property, and no one, you know, I don't see a need for a turnaround right there where our property is, where her gate is. There's no need. There's that backup right there on our garbage. And if you wanted to put another one, the driveway, the same driveway across from us, across from that, onto our other 4 acres, that's great. You guys want to put that in? The same thing? Fine, that's even more space for them to back up.
What are you saying? You want to donate part of your property?
No, I'm not going to donate any property for a turnaround.
Okay. Another driveway, you're saying?
Well, yeah, you guys want to put the driveway in for, make it actually for him to go straight and then go like that, that's fine. But he has no problem just backing in and then turning around, right there. And I haven't seen anybody, you know, if you go into a turnaround past that driveway, for us, our concern is we got water lines coming down alongside that road. And you're gonna break it if you start putting in cement pavement.
Now, your garbage man comes in daylight hours?
Yeah, he comes
Okay.
Friday mornings.
Well, fires a lot of times happen in the middle of the night.
Well, they've had a fire truck come up to that house in the middle of the night. Yeah, no problem. So.
Kelly, what would it cost, what does it cost the county to put a hammerhead, a T-head, a turnaround? So, man, well, according to Charlie, it hadn't been that long.
I think the last one we did was Higbee.
Yeah.
We can find the material, you know.
Yeah, man hours and all that.
You know, what does it take them, a couple days?
Yeah.
Okay.
2-3 days.
So see, instead of this saving the county money, it turns into something that costs the county money if we do that, instead of just abandoning the road.
We'd rather save
I
everybody
mean,
some kind of money.
Yeah, me.
The only-
Nails on my gates.
The only thing I think needs to be mentioned is, after 40 years of responding to emergency situations like this, if it's an emergency situation out there, an EMS call, number one, you're not going to have one unit. You're going to have an EMS, you're going to have a fire truck, you're probably going to have an SO unit. You know, emergency situations, you're going to have a number of units. And when you get that many units in an area without a turnaround, it's a nightmare getting out. Not that it can't be done, but it can cause for some serious issues. And I've seen
Delays.
and delays, and I've seen units hit other units trying to get turned around. Without a turnaround, it can be bad in emergency situations. Okay.
Well, they all 3 came out from my fire, so 2 from the city and 1 from Turtle Creek, so I'm not sure.
But at that time, they come in your gate and they don't care about going across your land or anything. They can kind of spread out and get turned around and fight a fire. Okay, they're out in the middle of the pasture turning around. They're not stopped at gate.
No, they're not.
You know, on most roads that I've seen,
There's a ditch on either
Hold
side.
on, one at a time, please.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm saying is there's a ditch on either side of that road. So when they're going up that road, it's either they're gonna be using somebody's driveway or that. Because if they back up, they're gonna go into the ditch.
Yeah.
That's the concern.
That's exactly.
So, you know, like where the gate happens to be, it happens to be right in past where we have our garbage guy goes. That's that pullout.
Isabel, what's the problem with donating or giving an easement with the property to make a turnaround right there?
Because there would be more people coming. They're already coming up there and stopping now. They would come up on the other side of the garden park, and they had carcasses, fish heads, people dumping trash, stealing my cords of wood. This has just been I don't want any more traffic down there, and having the turnaround, I believe, is just going to promote that. I don't think it's going to help, since there's no other property. I'm the only house there. She's the next house, and the rest is down the road. And each of them have a turnaround, a driveway large enough, as the fire marshal said, to turn around. I don't want any more traffic up there. I've had, between my gates, my fencing, my cars have been hit, the water line broken by the well, dumping trash out there. They even stole 2 rows of deer fencing, horse fencing. It's just, this is the times we're living in, and I think this shutting off the gate protects, I think, most of us, because it already says dead end. And having that, the people are just gonna, once they realize they've turned at a dead end road, they're gonna be turning sooner. And another drive, they're not gonna come all the way down. And plus at night, the reflectors and the light that comes on, they see it. It's not like they're in the middle of nowhere, they can see it, they can back up. And then she's offered the driveway across the way if you want to turn around within 100 feet. And we've already known multiple trucks.
I guess my question is, and probably not to use to your neighbor, if you're saying it's okay for the county to build a driveway across the road, what's the difference between that and asking doing it right inside Ms. Bell's property? I mean, it's either way.
Now, the amount of property that you're asking to donate, Hammerhead is large, it's not small. And then the cul-de-sac is, if you just dug out both sides of it and just paved it.
But you'd be able to close a gate legally, and they wouldn't go further into your property.
Right, I don't want them up in my property.
Well, exactly, from the T-head or whatever,
Right,
past.
But again, if you, that property on that is not cleared. And I think that's one of the reasons that, they come down there, and we have work trucks come down there and eat lunch and dump trash on the side of the road. People do that in the afternoon, they find a place to park and have a break, and then once word gets out, I think if you have a hammerhead in there and it's not visible from the road, we're just gonna have more problems. And we don't want that. If you're gonna do anything, I would do the driveway across the current driveway 40 feet, make it a little bit bigger, put another little culvert in there so everybody can turn around. That's what the concern is. But like I said, the fire marshal said you can turn around, and he's been doing 16 plus years, you can turn around in every single one of those driveways. And then there's been multiple cars, multiple EMSs out there. The road is not wide enough, because after talking to Mr. Lackey, fire marshal for the city, the road is not wide enough, it's not standard. So,
it's a tough call in my mind. I mean, I agree with Mr. Balloon's standpoint that, it's you hate to do something that's going to cause the county to spend money, and we'd like to help your situation. But the other side of it is, the gate appears to me to make it less safe, even though it's already an unsafe road because it's been there a long time, probably before we had our current subdivision rules. So I mean, I'm kind of on the fence on this, which is a little bit unusual. I could go either way. I agree with Mr. Blue, but also agree with Mr. Harris and county engineer.
And Rusty's comments as far as a hectic situation with emergencies when you have a lot of different units coming out there from different departments. And then the ditch on each side. That makes it even tougher.
well, that's why it's not where across where it's at now, it's level. That's why everybody's turning around here.
Yeah.
That part is.
But what you just said a minute ago, Ms. Bell, is that the road is narrow. So, and what the sheriff said earlier, you got 2 different large, oversized vehicles coming in, one's leaving, one's coming in, whatever the situation, they can, if they can clear one another, they still need a place to turn around.
Your driveway, just like the video driveways. That's what they're doing, they're using driveways.
You got 4 or 5 vehicles up in there.
We're
You're
talking
gonna have,
12
it's like
lots.
playing Tetris. This one moves forward, that one moves back, this one moves over the side. It's a problem, so. Charlie, is that driveway across from the existing driveway, is that a workable solution in your mind?
Right here. Right here.
Putting some kind of a
Not
pull
that
in.
big. We don't
No.
want to no, he moved the other side.
That's
That's
what
where
very
the water
hard.
line is.
One at a time, please.
He was showing the picture where there was the water line in the garden. No, you're right here. This is what he's proposing.
Oh, no, right there.
Right there, so that's where everybody can turn around, and it's nice and flat.
Just put another
Could-
little pad like, just like that, right here.
It would need to be a pad like that, as big as that.
Well, I don't know why, it was fine without doing just that for 40
Excuse me, I can't hear you.
If the one that you already have is fine, then there's no need to do one to a standard. This is the standard.
No, that's what I'm saying, is those, you just put something just like this right across here, that's all we're gonna do. That's all we need.
Also support what they're saying. This is the standard, this is what's available. I don't know if you can see that.
And where it's shown on here though is not on Isabel's property, correct?
No.
No, none of
It's all
them.
my property.
Yes. It's on Dan.
What material would that have to be made out of?
We would chip seal it after it was put down with asphalt.
Road base?
I'm sorry, road base. Road base with chip seal on top.
Can we compromise with something like that? This addresses what the sheriff said, it addresses what you said, it addresses what Commissioner Harris said, what I've said, what Commissioner Letts said. It allows for, the whole idea is for emergency vehicles.
Right.
Their concern is that if you have a larger area for people to congregate or dump trash or whatever, it just makes it,
Pretty big area.
it continues the problem.
This is what's available and what they showed the video of us. This is a standard.
This is.
And this distance from the
This isn't
gate
here,
is a
though.
standard. No, it's not.
That's the hammerhead?
Yeah, a turnout.
The turnout. But they're talking about putting it right here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, further down. It'd just be further away from the gate. It's, you don't want it too far. People trying to back up, especially if they're pulling a trailer. They just
Approximately
have
how far is
longer
that?
to get there. But,
Is there a,
it's better than nothing.
Approximately how far?
It looks like about 150 feet from the gate.
The question I have, is this draw, it's your property?
right there?
Both sides are all
To
marked.
do
This-
what we're even talking about right now would require an easement
120.
from you. We
Oh,
can't
you're
do
talking about
any,
back
we
here.
can't do something on private property.
Okay.
We have to have an easement from you to do it. I will make sure that's clear.
If it's sold, then we'd lose it, you know, if we sold it.
Yeah, it's gotta be an easement that.
Somebody put a gate across it.
So if we chose to put a driveway, like what that one spot is on our side, if we chose to put the driveway there, that's not, then you wouldn't have any problems.
Right, but you'd have to give the county an easement to that.
No, let's say if we chose ourselves to put it in, like we're gonna plan on eventually putting a house in there, this is where our driveway's gonna be.
It would need to be those dimensions.
No, it can't be just like that, just an access right there.
It would need to be these dimensions. You're just asking for it to be across the street from that.
You put it where
Why
you
would it
want.
have to be that way if it's our choice to put in that pad there?
Meeting requirements for a turnout. That, I'm showing you a standard.
But we were compromising.
We're saying there's no turnout.
This standard is actually a compromise from the, what the fire code calls for, international fire code.
The only other thing I think needs to be mentioned, that we just need to make sure of, Most of the county fires that I've seen, there's also gonna be a tanker truck pulled in there, especially if a bad one. Whatever you build or is built, culverts or whatever, have to be able to support the weight. And that's what I was asking Kelly, of that tanker truck, or you really creating something if you go across and collapse the driveway.
I'm saying is, if there's a fire, it's either gonna be my house or her house. They've already had fires.
Well, it could be
there.
coming up, you don't know where the fire's going to be, coming over the hill towards you from
There is
somewhere
no way.
else.
Where they
Fire doesn't stop at boundary lines.
Right.
Fire goes everywhere. So you can't think of it in those terms. Fire doesn't stop at your fence line. So there's a fire coming, it's coming. And if they can put it out from your side or your house or save your house from a fire coming over the hill,
They're
you
not
want
coming
them
in
there.
over the hill. They're not gonna be getting up there because there's no way they can get up that hill. Get up to there.
Yeah.
Then it's gonna burn.
Right.
They're gonna be burned.
So you want them there to stop it from reaching your house.
And they can.
They're up, and then that way they're in our driveway already. That's the part
And
that's
there's
too
two
close,
roads
they
that
can get
get
to
to
us.
us.
One at a time, please.
It seems like we're not progressing.
Yes.
Is there a value in doing no action to see if everyone can come up with a solution that everyone agrees with? Or do we need to vote today?
My question is, why can't we put a residence only sign at the end of the road? It's already a dead end sign.
Well, we don't, that's just not a general, we can't do that, it's a public road.
Well,
I mean,
County still
there was
maintains.
recently a lawsuit related to that about what you can and can't do on a county road.
Right.
And it's open to the public. I mean, that road may be a little private neighborhood road, but the public access is the same as on I-10. They have the ability to be on that road, so you can't limit that in any way.
The three standards that we have are a cul-de-sac, which is going to be the biggest and take up the most land, a hammerhead, which is unnecessary, don't need one here, don't want one, or just a simple turnout. And the turnout is what's being proposed, it's the least obtrusive of all three. The standard that I have developed and that we have been using is a lesser standard than the International Fire Code. The International Fire Code wants it longer and wider. I think we have a very good standard that works good for us, and it's the least of all. If we were going to delay based on the standard, I would need someone to submit a different standard. I think this is as bare bones as it gets. I think the only thing we could do is maybe not require as much of an easement around that road. We could skinny up the easement, but the actual, what gets paved and built, it needs to be that standard. Don't make it any smaller than that. I wouldn't. And it'd be rolling the dice. So I think we need to stick with that standard, but if we want to take the easement that goes around it, which was 60 feet wide and 80 feet long, if you want to make it 50 feet wide and 70 feet long, we could do that and still fit that road in there. It'd be narrower, it'd be shorter instead of 60 by 80, which is about a tenth of an acre per property that she's saying, I'm not willing to give up. And I get that. But this would be smaller. It's still bigger than a normal driveway. And I know that's hard to comprehend, but you've got to have multiple vehicles trying to turn around in there. That's what it's for. It doesn't solve the issue that Shirley's concerned about. If you build this, instead of them parking at the end of the road in front of my house, now they're going to be, because you've given them a place that's easy for them to turn around. Someone's going to park there, is what you're saying. Right now, it's very hard to turn around there, which is a problem in an emergency.
Mrs. McGraw, you need time to chew on that and see what you
About what? I'm just saying. I don't see there's a need for them to be putting in a cul-de-sac or turnaround right there in front of her property onto ours. It's like you said, they're gonna just start parking there and hanging out there versus, what's gonna stop me from putting a gate down on the start of my property then?
Because they're gonna get it.
Well, what you're really talking about is a police issue. It's not a road issue. And so you're not going to ever stop that kind of thing. there's a lot of other roads in Kerr County that have people that dump trash or carcasses or have tailgate parties.
There's a lot of roads, and I've been to a lot of different areas now, that are just like this, where the road just stops where driveways are.
But they're not asking to put a gate across it. So this is a different scenario. So what we're trying to do is accommodate a larger group than just one fire truck in a demonstration video. That's first and foremost. That in a real emergency situation, you'd have a lot of emergency vehicles there.
But that's gonna be that way anywhere on that street. If any house burns, all they're gonna have is those driveways.
Well, hopefully nobody's house burns, and so hopefully nobody has a heart attack with EMS and a fire truck there. But it's a possibility.
I know, but the way it is now, all along that road is gonna be that way. If somebody has a heart
So I'm gonna go
attack
back to my original question. Do you want to grant the county an easement for the driveway you suggested or not?
How big is the driveway? I mean, if it's the same size as
He just
what we
told
have.
you. The easement could be smaller than suggested on the map.
So you're saying it can be smaller than what he's suggesting?
The easement part, he just told us what it would be.
Because that allows somebody to turn around, to back into it from the gate, back up, and turn around. All different sizes and classes of vehicles. So I look at it from a traffic engineering standpoint, and I have to consider worst case scenario that is reasonable, and different classifications of vehicles.
Why can't it be across from where that garbage pad is? Why can't it be right across
It
from there?
could, it could, but it needs to be that size.
So that's what I was talking about with the compromise. It's where you would prefer it to be, but it needs to be built to certain standards so that everybody's happy with that. If we can compromise with that, then we would have an agreement.
Well, so I'm put by easement, what do you thought you were just, I'm just saying you can put that pad there?
Yes, a
But
road
we
easement.
still own it.
Yes, but it's an easement for the county to use it.
Yeah.
Build it and use it.
But if you sell it, the easement goes with it, the county would still have a right to it.
But if we could use it as if we chose to build, that would be our driveway.
That'd be the interest. Yes, ma'am.
Sure.
Okay?
So that's the first step to having that driveway you want, if we can all come to that agreement.
You would be giving up rather than Shirley giving up portion.
Yeah. I don't have a problem if you want to put something there across from where the other one
Okay.
is.
So we can work that out.
And then we just need, and then skinny it up as small as we can, so it's not a tenth of an acre. It's
Oh,
something less.
definitely, it's just,
Well, that's very generous of you.
Now, if it's a road easement, it becomes, for the public to turn around in.
well, we turn around anyways.
Right, there you go.
Why don't we then approve this concept? Because I really think Mr. McGraw needs to look at the actual document.
It does.
And the actual drawing, I don't want you just to agree to something without knowing the exact details.
And we're asking you to hire a surveyor to give us the meets and bounds description of this. And then we take that survey, it comes back to Commissioner's Court, the county attorney has attached on it, this is the agreement for a road easement, and if everybody signs, then at that point, then we have permission to come out with crews and clear, put the road base in, and put a topping on it, a top course.
Charlie, in this situation, and I think this is similar to what we've done in other roads, I don't mind the county doing the surveying. And I think it's important that I don't want them to go survey something that's not exactly what you think is needed. And I mean, on both of you agree, and the county does surveying, when we're getting additional right of way, which is essentially this is, the county has funds, and has paid for that cost in the past.
She's the one granting these, but we need to pay for that survey.
And just to be clear, in all 5 of those that I mentioned before, the property owner that was making the request obliged by also providing the survey.
I think we passed comparing this to the others in a long time ago.
I just want to make sure everybody understands.
Okay. So I will make the motion that contingent on, what are we saying, an agreement with Mrs. McGraw for an easement on her property? Is that how we want to? County attorney?
You could pass on this item
That'd probably be
and
simple.
have them come back
Okay,
once
we'll
this
bring
has
it
all
back.
been sorted out, so you don't have anything to clean up later. If you're doing it contingent on something else. And so this may be something that Ms. McGraw wants to go home and think about, and then read the documents that will have to be prepared and.
Right.
Okay.
That's probably a good idea.
Pass on.
But conceptually, we're moving in that direction.
And you'll provide some documents for her to review,
I sure can, I can provide.
or at least
what we
links or
usually
something.
do.
We'll just say thank you all for taking the time.
Probably the earliest that we would come back to the court on this would be maybe late January or early February of 2021.
Okay.
With the holidays approaching and everything, it'll take a little bit of time.
Right.
It could be a little bit earlier than that.
As fast as you can, get it to work. All right, thank you all. Item 1.17, public hearing, or let's open a public hearing rather, to consider the installation of stop sign in all directions at the intersection of Mosey Lane and 2nd Street, Precinct 2. So we open a public hearing. Is there anyone that would like to speak in the public hearing? It does not appear that there's anyone who wants to speak, so we'll say none. I'll close the public hearing. Item 1.18, consider, discuss, and take appropriate action to consider the installation of stop signs in all directions at the intersection of Mosey Lane and 2nd Street, Center Point, Precinct 2. Mr. Hastings?
Is the public hearing open and closed now?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Just a moment here. The intersection of Mosey Lane and 2nd Street has limited sight visibility due to the extremely close proximity of existing buildings to the edge of the road. The buildings are within 2 feet of the edge of the road, and Mosey Lane is about 18 feet wide. In addition, the right-of-way for Mosey Lane is restricted, and both sides of the road are owned by the Mosey families, who have used the road in their tree plant nursery operation for decades, and I think even approaching a century or even over a century. The commercial operation consists of pedestrian, equipment, and vehicles crossing Mosey Lane to access the buildings that are on the edge of the road. There is an existing stop sign on 2nd Street at Mosey Lane. There are no stop signs on Mosey Lane at 2nd Street. An engineering study was conducted following the Texas Manual of Uniform Traffic Control Devices, and the results are attached, and I will read them aloud. We have gone through this before, so I will summarize this time. Multi-way stop control can be useful as a safety measure at intersections if certain traffic conditions exist. Safety concerns associated with multi-way stops include pedestrians, bicyclists, and all road users expecting other road users to stop. Multi-way stop control is used where the volume of traffic on the intersecting roads is approximately equal. The average that we had, the vehicles per hour over an 8-hour period is really the critical one. I will tell you that the speed limits on both roads is 30, and the 85th percentile on both roads on Mosey was about 18 to 19, and 85th percentile on Mosey, or I'm sorry, on 2nd Street was about 22 miles per hour, so we're not moving real fast, but it is an intersection. And the vehicles per hour on Mosey was about 5 to 12 per hour. Vehicles on the minor road, 11 on 2nd Street, 11 vehicles per hour. Now, there's a whole lot of different categories, and any one of these can qualify you for putting a multi-way stop in. One of them would be temporary replacement of a traffic control signal. We don't qualify that, there's no traffic signal here. The other could be a significant number of crashes over a 12-month period. 5. per year. That would be a lot. We don't have any crashes there that we know of, other than people have hit the stop sign and knocked it over. Another would be volume of traffic. Our volume is way, way low. The volume, just so you know, would be somewhere in the range of 300 vehicles per hour on the major road and 200 vehicles per hour on the minor road. We're nowhere near that, so there's got to be something else that's causing us to look at this. Other would be left turn conflicts, high pedestrian volumes. I think either one of those is an issue. Another would be intersection of two similar residential collector through streets. We don't really have that here, so it leaves us with, after stopping on 2nd Street, you cannot see on Mosty Street. And remember, we talked about those buildings and how close they are to the edge of the road, only 2 feet. That's close. So with that being said, county engineer requests that the court consider, discuss, and take appropriate action to consider the installation of stop signs in all directions at the intersection of Mosty Lane and 2nd Street. This is precinct 2. Leave it up to y'all.
Second.
A motion from Commissioner Moser.
Well, I just recommended that y'all consider, discuss, and take appropriate action. I didn't give you an actual hard recommendation of what to do. I'm leaving that up to.
I move to put the stop signs in all directions in Mosty Lane and 2nd Street.
Second.
Okay, a motion from Commissioner Moser to put stop signs in all directions, Mosty Lane and 2nd Street, and Commissioner Harris has seconded that. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand and say aye.
Aye.
Unanimous, 4-0. Item 1.19, consider, discuss, and take appropriate action for the court to approve final plat for Alma Acres, deed number 15-6676 in precinct 1.
There's a total of 2 acres. He's going to divide this into 2 lots. These 2 lots already exist with water meters on them. They've been serviced for years. There's 2 separate houses. There's 2 separate water meters. It's never been platted before. So this proposed subdivision will divide a 2-acre tract into 2 existing residential homes and 2 existing separate water connections. It's into 2 separate lots. This plat also dedicates right-of-way along Nixon Lane. Since it had never been platted, but it fronted Nixon Lane, there had never been dedication. So that's going to bring these lots both under 1 acre apiece. A concept plan for this subdivision was approved on September 14, 2020 by order number 38318. And county engineer requests the court approve the final plat for Alma Acres, deed number 15-6676. This is precinct 1.
I move for approval. Second.
A motion from Commissioner Baloo, second Commissioner Harris to approve final plat for Alma Acres, deed number 15-6676. This is precinct 1. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand, say aye.
Aye.
And it's 4-0. And that wraps up the consideration agenda. We've already had the approval agenda and the information agenda. And I don't believe we have any executive session today. So then we're adjourned.